You're going to have to call me Miss Fuzzy Peg today. Look, fluffy hair. It's damp. It's been damp in England for a long time. But I have a Scotsman I am talking to today, Ricky Hobson. He's going to be talking about his journey of realization that he could take his own health into his own hands and learn all about this phenomenal tool, our body. And that's what he's been doing. And he's going to talk about this journey. I'm very excited about this because he was always a considerate, thoughtful, warm-hearted person. And then he took that energy and applied it to himself and has transformed quite, let's say quite a severe diagnosis into a healthful way of being and learnt so much. And this is the process that so many human beings are now waking up to. We don't need to go to the doctor. We understand that they did some rather despicable things of late, in fact, going on for many decades. And so more and more people taking in to their beautiful sovereign beings, their responsibility, their knowing, acquiring knowledge and understanding how to feed our bodies food-wise, lotion-wise, activity-wise, feeling-wise. That's what we're going to be having a look at today. So, okay, Ricky, I have introduced you as somebody who has taken your health into your own hands.
Absolutely.
Would you like to tell us why?
Because natural healing is not alternative healing. Pharmaceutical chemicals and poisons are alternative
Oh, I love that.
medication.
Very alternative. Let's just kill you, shall we?
Absolutely,
Health,
yes,
death.
yes. And I tend to believe that the herbs that we've used for hundreds of thousands of years to cure medical conditions with no side effects are the correct method for healing.
Hmm. Well, I would say
And
there
our
are
body and
some
our
side
bodies,
effects to herbs. For example, I just took nettle soup. When you pick
yeah,
nettles from June to October, they're
uh-huh,
supposed even the fresh new ones, they're supposed to be fine. But the
yeah,
old ones have a very potent chemical. But I was even reacting to these fresh new growth nettles, and
yeah,
it caused an issue for me. So yes, even the
yeah,
natural herbs have side effects, but it's about the intuitive awareness, isn't it? Understanding
yeah.
how much, where, and when.
But if you take herbs and your body requires them, whatever part of your body needs the goodness out of the herbs, then it uses it. And parts of the body that don't need it don't use it. And that's completely the opposite of pharmaceutical drugs, where the poisons, your body just uses it whether it needs it or not.
It just spreads over everything, doesn't it? Like a
Yes, yes, yeah,
So I know that you've been very detailed in this work. You know, you've looked into particular people like beautiful Barbara.
yeah.
I know you love her work. Um,
Uh-huh.
but was there a specific starting point, or was it just the COVID nonsense? Is that what just made you say,
Just
right,
from
I'm
yeah.
not even taking an aspirin anymore?
Well, I would take aspirin to be honest, because they're actually quite good for you. But yes, I think it was the well, my ex girlfriend, her mother cured herself of cancer 18 years ago, and she had chemo and radio and a double mastectomy, and the cancer came back, and they said to her, "You need to go for chemo and radio again." And she says, "I'm not doing it. I'm just going to manage as I see best." And she changed the diet. She cut out sugars. She cut out fast foods, GMO foods, and she's been cancer free for 18 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a light in my life to hear that. Then I started. Luckily, I came across quite quickly Charlotte Gerson, and I watched German. Our father was famous for curing cancer back in the 40s and 50s. And that was through The Truth About Cancer on Facebook. Prior to that, they were on YouTube and Rumble, etc. And I watched their videos, and it was just so eye-opening to hear the truth about what alternative medicine can do to heal us.
Yeah, and those people who know that information, they often have to protect themselves very carefully, don't they? Because
Oh, yeah, yes, because they were getting blocked and yes, threats
sometimes
made
a
to
little
them.
bit more than blocked, blocked on the head. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes, yes. But that in itself sets off alarm bells. You know, when you see the pharmaceuticals trying to close them down or trying to stop them spreading the word. Why? I mean, why? The only explanation I can think is because they're telling the truth.
Mm-hmm. I just got the image of Mary Poppins in my mind. That
Okay.
song which gets spoonful of sugar helps the
Sugar makes the
medicine go down.
medicine go
Yeah.
down.
Okay, so
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
sugar's good, cough mixture's good,
Yes.
medicine's good. And so
Yes.
as a child, I didn't have much medicine,
Uh-huh.
but it was considered a good thing. Although I was raised with homeopathy, and
Uh-huh.
because I lost the use of my legs at 7, 8, I had acupuncture, and we had a cranial osteopath in the family. So we were always very sort of naturopathic. But
Yeah.
still, the idea of medicine was considered a good thing. Now,
Yes.
that's an interesting thought thing. So for you, you're now saying, no, that goes in the bin, apart from aspirin, because of course aspirin's pretty simple as a piece of pharma, isn't it? Aspirin, you can go and get
Yes.
willow bark off a willow tree and brew your
Uh-huh.
own little aspirin if you want. It's that simple.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
about the only
Yeah.
sort of one of the few things you can kind of trust. But well, what do you think was that shift for you? So there's the beautiful example of your friend's mother.
Uh-huh.
And then, so was it just a seeping mistrust, or did you try out things on your body? Did you find you had quite dire symptoms which you then alleviated? What? Because that's an interesting
Well,
way.
I like if you read the document that comes with any medication, you'll always find the active ingredient. And the active ingredient is usually a plant or plant-based. So then, therefore, I like to go down that road and try and find the plant and be able to source it and then try self-medicating solely using that.
Mm.
Uh,
Have you had any incidents with that?
I did with my heartburn, and it was turmeric. Turmeric isn't used in the medication, but I was on lansoprazole for 17 years, and I was having a nauseous sensation in my stomach, which is a long-term adverse reaction. So then I started taking the turmeric. Someone suggested trying turmeric with salt, with a black pepper, because the pepper makes it more potent.
Mhm.
So I tried that in the capsules, and on day 3 of taking the capsules, my nauseous sensation just disappeared. Yes.
I want to add something about turmeric because, as a child, we always had turmeric in the spice
Uh-huh.
cabinet. We used it quite a lot. But it was,
Uh-huh.
yes, it was that beautiful, crazy yellow and it stained your finger.
Yeah.
But it didn't really have a scent. Yeah, even more
Yeah.
more like your rug behind you, actually, your
Yeah.
Tartar rug. But then from Riverford, I could start buying fresh turmeric because you can actually
Yeah.
grow in a greenhouse here. And I
Uh-huh.
thought, whoa, here's this fresh root and here's this dry old musty powder. And
Yeah.
it was like night and day.
Yeah.
Just smelling the scent of that root when you chop it. No
Uh-huh.
wonder it's a medication. Probably just if you'd had someone give you a root and you just chopped it open and you sniffed it, that would have
Yeah.
sorted out your stomach as well.
Probably,
We've
yes.
come
Yeah.
so far, haven't we, from the original ingredients?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's the curcumin in it that's the active ingredient. And curcumin's an amazing plant. There's so many uses for curcumin. You can use it for aches and pains and joint pain. arthritis, osteoarthritis. He mixed in with ginger is a fantastic uh, uh, liquid that you can use. So yeah, there's just it's amazing how this has been hidden from us, and you know, and you never get taught it in school,
Yeah.
and it's brainwashed into us that it's alternative medicine when in fact it's the original medicine.
It's
And
also a kind of joy factor, isn't it? Because, like I was just joking, just snip open a piece of turmeric root and you've got that
yeah,
amazing
yeah,
scent. And the
yeah,
color is phenomenal. It's so kind of vital and
yeah,
vibrant. And then you start to use it and you can taste it. So all that
uh-huh,
joy and goodness, and we've got this sort of
yeah,
dry powder, or we've got a little pill or a capsule. It's like, how did we allow ourselves? It's
yeah,
slowly, there's a little creep, 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 that totalitarian tiptoe that David Icke talks about so well, that we
yeah,
actually thought that was medicine, whereas the joy of this amazing plant was just like, of course I want to have some of that. It's just
yeah,
amazing,
yeah,
isn't it? So do
yeah.
you find yourself in conversations now with buddies, at work, welding along? You've just finished a shift, you have a little chat over your mug of tea. Are you sort of proselytizing a little bit?
I had a chat with a work colleague via Facebook. I put a post up on my proper Facebook account, Ricky Hobson one, and this guy came back to me that I know, and he's been told that he's got knee pains, and that he can have an operation, but the operation isn't very successful. Yeah. And he asked me, yeah, he asked me what he could use. So I sent him over the details, and he never got back to me. So I thought, right, that's still the brainwashing and programming that I'm facing. And I could sit there all day and tell them, well, look, I've been able to cure myself of this and that and that, and it goes in one ear and out the other. You
Yeah.
can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So,
So, like, you and I are fans of Dr. Brian Ardis, aren't we? We're both
yeah,
both
fantastic,
fans.
man.
And when
Yeah,
you just listen, I mean, he's such fun to listen to
yeah,
because so
yeah.
he's just so warm and his heart just kind of fills the room anyway. But
Uh-huh.
he's also passionate and just talking about that one thing, tobacco, which I'm sure is in your pipe,
Yeah, the
is
nicotine.
yeah, the nicotine,
Yeah.
what nicotine can do for all of these congenital illnesses. And of
Mhm.
course, it's just been damned. And then most people don't realize how many toxic chemicals are mixed into cigarettes. That's the danger, of course. But the
Yes,
tobacco itself is
yes.
extraordinary. But to overcome poor sweetheart people's brainwashing
Hmm.
into that is an upward hill, walk up your mountain journey, isn't it?
Yes, but I think more awakening up because, especially over the last 3 years, they've they're now looking into things and starting to believe people more. And people are tending to be on social media more than watching the television these days. And you can pick up so much information in an afternoon that you would never hear on the The television is just solely there to program you into believing what they're saying. And the stories are repeated 30, 40, 50 times a day,
Mm.
especially if you go onto like BBC News or Sky News or Virgin News, it's all the same. The same headlines are just rammed down you repeatedly in parrot fashion. And at the end of the day, you just sit there and you repeat exactly what they've been saying.
Do you ever go
The
on
best,
to check sometimes? Because I haven't had a television. I've never actually, I have never
oh,
owned a television in my life.
fantastic. You don't want to.
No,
No,
I don't want to.
no.
But do you ever go in and just kind of check? Oh, let's see what Sky and Virgin and BBC are saying. Is that something you do for kind of fun.
No, not anymore. No, it's only when I'm visiting neighbours or friends that they've got their televisions on, and I'm
Mm.
like, "Oh, you're not listening to the programming anymore, are you? You're still doing this?" And yes, yeah, but
It was all in the
you
Doctor
can't change.
Who episodes. Every single Doctor Who episode told us what the
Uh-huh.
BBC and others were doing. You know, they had all these
Yeah,
shows around the TV and what it did to suck in your
mhm.
souls. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
absolutely, yes, yes. And people are waking up to that. They're now realizing that they're telling us to our faces what they're doing.
mm,
And yeah, I think there's a massive change in people's attitudes towards life in general. People are going, well, we're getting taxed again, or oh, we're getting brainwashed again, or here's another vaccine coming out to cure cancer, and you know. But the best thing about Dr. Ardis is most of this information he's given out, he's given you the sources of the peer-reviewed studies, so
mm,
you can actually go and check for yourself. And I've done that several times with him. And yeah, the one about the nicotine, I went and checked that. It was a where was a it was a university in America, and yeah, everything he says is absolutely true. And yeah, and there was a thing on the other day about banning nicotine, and somebody says rightly so. So I said, well, you better ban white potatoes, green and red tomatoes,
oh, yeah.
aubergines,
Aubergine.
yeah, uh,
Courgette, I
uh,
think, is a part of the
courgettes as well,
family.
yes,
Yeah.
and red bell peppers because they all contain natural nicotine in them. And I never got a reply. I didn't expect to get a reply, but that's me just sent the information out there, and hopefully whoever the person was will digest it and think, well, yes, if there's natural nicotine in foods, then why are we banning it?
And why
You
did the
know,
Indians, the American Indians, the Hopi, all of these, the Lakota, they had the tobacco in their world? It was
yes,
a part of it. So why? And why did
yeah,
the industry decide to add that long list of other stuff?
yeah, yeah,
So it's just the question of being a lovely little curious person. Of course, that tends to get killed in our society.
mhm,
But you said you're finding so people, you're able to at least seed an idea, and then you told
yeah,
me that you think there is a general stirring. So what I'm seeing is a general stirring of consciousness, but also you're putting forth an idea and it's meeting a brick wall. So what kind of activity could we do, just judging from your own experience, to keep stirring this pot of cleaning out the rubbish, the garbage information, and bringing people back to this sense of what's true and what's real and what's effective?
just just by showing them the evidence of healing. I think that's the best way, Uh, the guy that I was talking about earlier, I told him to use castor oil on his knees, and I mean castor oil's very cheap. You don't need a prescription to buy it. You can buy it over the counter. We were all given it as children on a teaspoon. So it's a. I'm going. What have you got to lose? And you've got less to lose and more to gain just by trying it. And if it doesn't work, I'll give you the money that you've spent buying the castor oil if you want. I'm that
Did he
certain.
try it? Did he try it out?
No, no,
Okay, so,
no.
but you're telling me that there is a more awakeness. So he was able to listen to you, but not action it. Is that what you're seeing
Yeah,
with people? So they're
yes.
able to stop for a moment the hypnotic television box integration. They're able just to pause for a moment, listen to you, but not yet follow through and do it. So what do you think we need to get people to do it? Is it just a mass number? The more people like you and me keep saying, oh, yes, I never got an illness since I was a child when I took medicine. Now I don't take
Mhm,
medicine, I don't get ill.
mhm.
Or telling our stories. What do you think it takes to get them to the action stage of that information?
I think there's some people that'll never wake up. They don't want to wake up. They wear a security blanket, and it's like trying to think outside the box for them. And they're not prepared to do that. The ones that are wakening up slowly, and they have been. And when I went to see Barbara and Neil in Crieff at the last month in September, it was a sellout every single day. It was absolutely, and the buzz that was in that in the hotel was absolutely amazing.
So
It
for
was
anyone who
fantastic.
doesn't know, Barbara O'Neill was
Mhm.
vilified, wasn't she, by her profession? They took every single ability to practice in a
Yeah,
normal, let's say, hospital environment or registered clinic. That was all
yeah,
removed from her. She was
yeah,
absolutely um, denounced as some kind of almost criminal. There were even
mhm,
criminal proceedings against her, weren't there? And there you
yeah.
are telling us of an event sold out, packed out with buzz and excitement of people
Mhm,
loving her. That's a wonderful defiance. So
mhm.
people aren't always actioning what they know, but it's just slowly creeping in, do you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes, yeah. She was threatened with 10 years in prison if she carried on practicing in Australia. That's why she now does her world tours, because that's the only way that she can get the word out there. And yeah, there's so many people now are looking at the original ways of healing. Uh, I think everybody's fed up after the COVID vaccines. They know that they've been reported that they don't stop transmission and they don't stop infection. You know, people are going, why are we taking them then? You know, what good is it to us?
I just
And
found out that the
uh,
dentists and anesthetic has
yeah,
the nanoparticles in as well.
okay,
And I
right.
think that's why the NHS, so 2 years ago, 3 years ago, yeah, I had a
Hmm.
tooth problem. It was removed. She took the tooth out. She didn't actually need to, but
Yeah.
she did. She damaged three other teeth,
Hmm.
broke them, and then had
Yeah.
to do something else. So I had two teeth removed within 2 years and heavy anesthetic. Now, I believe now, knowing the information
Hmm.
I know, that that was part of the people behind the NHS wanting to get these injectables into our system because there's no way I would go and have any other injection. But
No, no.
I did need an anesthetic if someone's going to wrench my tooth out. Because I haven't been back to the
Hmm.
dentist. I make my own toothpaste. My teeth are absolutely
Hmm.
fine, even though she ruined my expensive crown. I haven't had a crown on one of my teeth. It's exposed to the root. It never hurts. It loves me because I look after it properly now. Never going back to
Yeah,
the dentist ever again. But these secret agendas, do you think enough of us have been shouting that people are starting to mistrust all of these organizations?
absolutely. Yes. Yeah. The figures are that the pharmaceutical industry, 80% of people trusted them. That's now dropped down to 40% since the COVID vaccines have come out.
It's
So
no.
yeah, yeah,
We need that
that's
in
a
the
massive
dentistry as well. If they're just NHS is saying, yeah, just yank out the teeth, that's great. I mean, it's so insane, even on the economic system of the NHS. You'd want your people to have
uh,
their teeth for as long as possible, wouldn't you? Because then you don't have to look
yeah,
after them in a nursing home later on, if they can actually.
yeah,
But it's like this kill, kill, kill that was put out, and people
uh-huh.
are waking up to it. So even something seemingly innocent. Um,
Are you oil pulling?
I make my own toothpaste, so I use coconut oil and a little bit of
Yeah,
borax,
okay,
bicarbonate of soda,
okay,
clove oil,
right,
orange oil. Those are the main ingredients.
right,
Yeah, yeah. I have done that for
yeah.
years actually, but now I
Well,
only use that.
your teeth should grow back then.
Yeah, that's
They
why
should
this
heal.
expensive crown that is
Hmm.
actually a bare root exposed, it doesn't hurt because the tooth is just slowly, slowly, slowly recovering, rebuilding. And the
Yeah,
same with the other one that she damaged. So it's just like F you,
Mm.
basically. We can look after ourselves. But you're taught that it's a finite thing, just like the bones. I love talking about bones. I don't know if you got into bones much, but the crystalline structure of bones is something most people never learn about. I did A-level
Mm.
biology. We never talked about it. It's made of apatite.
Okay.
Yeah. But what is apatite? It's a crystal. It's a resonator. It's a retainer of information. It's how you
Okay.
transduce your entire auric field throughout space. So have you learned anything about bone? Because I think these kind of systems are so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. The minerals can heal bones. That's basically all I've heard. That was from Barbara Neal as well.
Mm.
Uh, and yeah, they're not calcium. We don't need calcium for our bones. It's minerals. And brittle bone disease is basically a lack of minerals in our bodies. And
There is some calcium involved, but it's
yeah,
a
there is some, but they're not
network.
solely just calcium like a lot of us are led to believe, Oh,
Yeah, the calcium
it's your
gets
calcium,
turned
like, yeah,
into that apatite crystal. It's an alchemy.
right.
They're
Uh-huh.
alchemization stations. We never taught any of that, are we? It's like
No,
we've got
no,
this.
no. And why are we not taught that?
Hmm. What do you think we should be taught? If you were a cute little 9-year-old going to school, what do you think you should learn now?
I think you should learn uh, natural homeopathic remedies and especially herbs. Herbs are amazing for our bodies. You should be taught what plants we need to get the complete minerals that our body needs. Uh, Near enough everybody on the planet has got a magnesium deficiency or a zinc deficiency.
Mm, mm.
You're never taught anything about ensuring that you're taking the correct ingredients that you need to keep a healthy body.
Yeah, because then people go and buy a zinc tablet or a magnesium tablet because they think then
Yeah.
that's going to help. But magnesium you don't take through the gut, it's through the skin. And like zinc, look,
Hmm.
here's my organic mango. That's my go-to
Yeah.
doodle. And Laura Eisenhower and I were making a joke about she just
Uh-huh.
demolished an entire packet, and I'd just done that in the same day because it's yummy. But this
Yeah.
natural way to take in zinc or a bunch of pecan nuts or have a herb garden that's just this size outside of your house, you could
Hmm.
grow almost
Hmm.
every single herb you need just to keep you going in a healthy manner.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the road I went down 2 years ago. I started buying organic herbs, and I've got them out the front of my house. I've got organic herbs growing, and it just makes food taste so much better. Adding herbs to your food,
Yeah.
rather than buying the dried out herbs and sprinkling them on. You can't beat natural, healthy, still alive herbs that you've just picked and you're using to make your food taste better.
Yeah, and the scent is so uplifting, isn't it?
Oh, the scent is amazing, yes, and organic as well.
Yeah.
Organic is a necessity nowadays. It's not a choice of shall I take it or shall I not. It's you must take organic food
That should
for
be,
the new
like you
solely
said,
for the nutrition.
the alternative. We've called natural
Yes,
medicine now alternative. We should be calling the nonsense pharmaceuticals alternative. In the same way, there's that movement, isn't there, to
yeah,
say, there's
yeah.
food and then there's toxic food. That's how we should actually have it. And then there's the
Yeah, yeah,
elementals playing in your garden saying, Yay, he's got excited. He's planted some plants. Let's work with him. Let's dance with him. Let's guide him
yeah.
what to pick, how to do it. Again, you're just smiling when I say that because it's just
Uh-huh.
added another layer of what to your life? What do you think?
Another layer of health and protection, I would say,
Mm.
and the knowledge fact of it as well. You feel better. You feel since I've been eating organic, I feel so much better. I
Mm.
don't have aches and pains in my body anymore. I've got an abundance of energy, and I'm generally in a happier mood most of the times.
Mm.
which is, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, it's shocking, isn't it, how simple it is to take that
Absolutely,
step
yeah,
sideways. And
yeah.
people are a bit scared about the cost. Yeah, of course there's a cost because there's lots of human labor involved. But you don't then have the cost of going to the doctors and the specialists and the other medications because you're actually having
Uh-huh.
food that has far more goodness in it.
Yes.
Can you
It's
talk a
more
little bit?
nutritionally,
Oh,
the
sorry.
nutrition in organic food is worth its weight in gold. And I, when I go to the shop, I've got a big cardboard box that I use that they gave me to put my veg in, and I'll drop it. I'll stop by the neighbours before I get home and show them. I show them the box of organic veg that I've bought, and when I tell them the price of it, they're absolutely amazed at how cheap it is. Yeah, yeah, and I say, how much do you think this box cost me? And they would go, oh, 15, £20. And I said, no, it only cost me 10.
Hmm.
I had to collect it myself, right enough, which is it's not too far in the car. It's only 4 miles or something. So that's and the fact it's enjoyable to go out and be able to pick your own produce, knowing that it's organic and it's fresh and it's not in plastic packaging. And the only thing with organic is it does go off a lot quicker. But that's just because the microbes want to eat it more than they do the pesticide induced supermarket crap that's readily available.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense,
So,
does it, to buy food and
no,
then have it in your fridge for a long time? It
no,
just doesn't make any natural
no.
sense. Yeah.
No, if bacteria doesn't want to touch it, then we shouldn't be touching it, basically.
Mhm. I'm curious, your job, maybe you could tell us a little bit about it, but as far as I know, you put things together in a very specific way with your job.
Yeah,
Now,
yes.
I have this little sense that, let's say in 10 years from now,
Hmm.
you might well be doing a lot more about health, maybe health linked to people in the workplace. Have you had any of these kind of thoughts of how you might be developing your career because of your love and your passion for this natural way of being and eating and repairing?
Yes, there's a lot of people that I talk to, and a lot of them listen. Uh, I taken my own salt, which is Celtic salt, into work, and I'll maybe take tomatoes in or some other vegetable or fruit, and I'll put it on. And I said, "Have you ever tried Celtic salt?" And they go, "No, I've never heard of it." I says, "Here, try some, put it on, try using it." And everybody's amazed with how different your food tastes with Celtic salt on it rather than the table salt that we buy out the supermarkets. Uh, I'm, I'll take in my homemade soups. I've got a soup kitchen on the go during the winter for my neighbours, and they all think that the soups and the stews and the mince and potatoes I make which is all organic and bought from I get my meats from the butcher. I get my fish from a fish van that's round once a week, and I get my veg from my local organic farm. And they're all absolutely amazed at how good it tastes. The taste's just is there, and far, far, far tastier than pesticide foods that you buy. And I don't think there'll ever be a massive change. These supermarkets are still going to be in business in 10 or 15 years, but there's definitely people are wakening up, especially when it comes to food, because we all enjoy food. It's an ingrown part of our daily routine that we want to eat something that is nice and enjoyable and delicious. And there's no better way of getting that message across than than through food. And I think people are wakening up to the organic more than they're wakening up to other parts of programming, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I
And
like that with the food. My daughter, who was very close to me, and then we had these 11 years apart.
mhm,
But she and her boyfriend, when they came to stay with me, they just
mhm,
loved. She's always loved my food,
mhm.
but he just was blown apart by the food, which is
Yeah,
just simple,
yeah,
delicious organic food. His mother,
yeah,
a doctor, right, is prescribing all
uh-huh,
the pharmaceuticals in the world and absolute trust
yeah,
and all that stuff. Ah,
yeah, yeah,
but because of the food he tasted,
mhm,
it's like he opened his heart
yeah,
to at least conceive of the possibility. And that is
mhm,
interesting, isn't it? So you go through the pleasure mechanism, yummy, good food, delicious, and that will just
yeah,
slowly take people. So that's a lovely thing you're doing by allowing more
yeah,
and more people to try your food. What a gorgeous thing to.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you have to let them appreciate the flavors are there, and the nutritional value is there. Just one plate of homemade Scotch broth with organic foods will fill them up for longer than a can of Campbell's tomato soup will. So they're going, oh yeah, that's a meal in itself. That bowl of soup.
Mhm.
Because I do, I pack it out with veg. It's like a stew basically. And yeah, they they're all saying it's absolutely delicious, which to me is the reward I'm looking for.
Mm.
They try and give me money and go, oh, let's bet. I said, no, 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 I don't want any money. I said, if I was just cooking for myself, I wouldn't bother making a big pot of soup, because you might as well make a big pot of soup. There's no point in making a pot of soup just for two portions. So that's the reason that I do like to give my neighbours my soup and my stews and that, because I like to make a big portion of it,
Mm.
and I'm not going to put it in the freezer to freeze it, because freezing food isn't good for it, after it's been cooked. So it has to get eaten within 2 days.
So what
And
you're
so,
always already telling us as well is, of course, it's not only the natural plants and just have herbs on your door and start to medicate yourself with these natural plants, but it's the joy of sharing the
oh
food.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
the
Yes.
eating
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
joy is
Yeah.
such, that's an emotional quality. We've got less than a minute left. Do you want to say
Right.
anything? I'd love to talk to you afterwards, but is there any last point you want to kind of make here?
No, just open your eyes to nutrition and organic and healthy, fresh, locally sourced produce. And it's on everybody's doorstep in the UK because our farmers are absolutely fantastic. So keep out the supermarkets and go and support your local delis and farmers markets and family-run businesses, because they are concerned more about the produce they sell than the supermarkets ever will.
Thank you.